I remember back in '09 when I got in first, people were saying to me, well, what's it like and how do you find the Dáil? I know I described it then, and I think there's still aspects of it now, that when I'd leave the Dáil and I'd come back across the bridge onto the north side of the city, I'd say, I'm back in the real world. Having been involved in voluntary youth work for so many years, right back from the 60s, I know how valuable the funding is that goes into youth services in Dublin. And that's why it's been really awful the way in which cumulative cuts over the past few years, amounting to some 35%, are eating in at the services that are being provided to young people in the North Inner City. In the private rented, what's happening is it's a landlord's market. They are increasing the rents. People who are in that accommodation dependent on rent supplement. The rent supplement is not going up to meet the demands of the landlords. So therefore people are being evicted, which brings them into the local authority housing lists, which are very, very long at the moment. There's a terrible disconnect between what goes on in the Dáil and what's happening in the real world, and I think that's where issues like property tax and water charges, that's how they are so major to people. There is a wide variety in drugs. There are new ones appearing every day, and drugs addiction, alcohol, gambling addiction affects every town and village and city in this country. There's a massive cost, both economically and in terms of what it's doing to people, to individuals, to families and to communities. And I don't think that the government is taking this issue of addiction seriously enough. We're told that the economy is improving. And certainly if you look at the percentages and the statistics, it would certainly seem that it is improving. But for me, we'll only see the improvement when those statistics and those percentages are reaching down into ordinary people's lives and making a difference to them. Because while this present budget has seen some improvement and some additional income for people, that's going to be eroded by the extra charges, particularly the proposed water charges. First and foremost, I'm elected by Dublin Central, by the constituents, the communities in Dublin Central. So I have a big responsibility to address whatever issues they bring to me. That's a major part of my work. And then the other aspect of the work are the broader issues that I'm involved in, like mental health, like addiction, like housing, like animal welfare, like justice for the Magdalens, justice for the forgotten, the Moore Street issue. They're the other issues. So I do my best, whether it's challenging the minister, challenging the Taoiseach, following up on questions, following up with officials, to do the best I can. I mean, it's been obvious for quite some time now that there is a crisis in housing in local authority areas and also in the private rented areas. As Ireland is totally supportive of the developing world having access to clean water and at no cost, I think our citizens deserve the same. I'm introducing the Housing Homeless Prevention Bill 2014. It's very, very difficult for people, for ordinary people, to accept the cuts and the sacrifices when they see that those whose greed and corruption cause the devastation, that there's no effect on them, or little or no effect on their lifestyle. I do know that being a TD and being in that position, that there were times when I could progress an issue for somebody because I could make the right contact. I could contact the right minister or agency or department and been able to follow through on something for people. And it's good that I do have examples of that in the course of the last 5 years.